Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're here to start the show, Weebs of the Ring, episode 59, Raw before Berlin. The people from SmackDown, they already traveled the world. They're already over there in the Netherlands. We had our boy, Gunther. He was giving us a little intro, a little promo work saying that he's already taking the lead. He's taking the charge. He needs to do what he needs to do. But we also had a person that needs to get done his first appearance in 5 years. The first time was a six-man tag of Uncle Howdy versus Chad Gable. 5 years later, we have them at a singles main event match, and that'll be our headliner and our main story. Like I brought up, it was Gunther. Randy Orton came out to hold the stage and speak his mind, hear the voices. And after that, for our mid-card 30, our first one is Judgment Day versus the LWO. And then we have Io Sky, Kairi versus Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark for representing the Bathroom Break Collective, guys. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre have their moment. Our boy CM Punk continues tackling him from behind. Do you question that? Does that prove Mr. Drew McIntyre's point that he is a wuss? Well, let's talk about that. And our last two topic is the IC title contender tournament for the number one spot that will be happening in a couple of weeks. Maybe might be pushed during Bad Blood. We will see what it will lead up to. And our big meat versus meat match, Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman. Do we have another person out for the next couple of weeks because they got destroyed by a prop card? Yes, guys, that's a prop card. In case people don't realize by now, for so many fucking years, those are prop cards. Those exist. But if you wasn't aware about those little things in the pro wrestling world, real glass happens as well. Without further ado, let's get to our show and let's see our beautiful faces for our lovely host.
Oh gosh, why my beautiful face? It's not beautiful, it's hideous. Hear the light, it burns. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up, what is good? It is a Monday night, and not a Friday night, because I wasn't here Friday night, so hopefully you guys had a good time with our other co-hosts. But tonight, I am back. We have our three co-hosts here, and who am I? I am your world champion, Whawkins, here to guide you guys through another evening of the Graps on our Monday Night Raw. And as always, on my right shoulder, we have the visionary himself, Vash the Legend. Vash, tell the people how you doing tonight.
How we doing tonight? It is the visionary legendary Vash who dictates the future of your not one time. It was one time. This tonight, our boy Bronson Reed jump over like a 10 type of 15 feet wall, jump down to a car, taking down our boy Braun Strowman for the next 6 weeks again. He's gonna be gone. We took out R-Truth. We took out the Miz. And no, sorry, the Miz is coming up next week. He'll be taken out, but we have our first Seth Rollins. So our boy Visionary, he's gone. Let's see until that happens.
Excellent. And of course, to my left, the man with the knowledge, the genius of the ring. We have DropThisBox. Drop, how you doing tonight? Let the people know right now.
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm happy to talk about the Bathroom Break Collective. Probably something I am super excited to get into. I'm honestly hoping we spend most of the show talking about it.
Oh, don't worry. We will spend a good 2 hours talking about the Bathroom Break Collective. But to find out who the Bathroom Break Collective is, you'll have to wait until we go through 5 minutes of the rest of the show. We'll spend a little bit more time with all that stuff. But
this is right, guys. Because you know what? How you find about the show is all the time in the time code below. If you're watching on stream, you just enjoy the stream as it goes, the conversation, like we said in Stampede. But all the time codes will be down below on each of the segment and each of the conversation that we discuss. And if you like what we see, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you're a returning listener, we appreciate you for being here. Continue to let us know your thoughts about the show and about the discussion that we said. If you disagree with us, hey, let us know what's up. And if you like what we did, like the video. Other than that,
and if you don't, dislike and give us engagement.
Exactly. Tell us why. Tell us why you don't like us.
Yeah,
exactly.
Constructive criticism.
It could be like Vash's beard, or Drop's cup, or maybe I'm just wearing a dumb title. Who knows? Maybe come up with better excuses than that.
Yeah. Try to roast us in the comments as much as you can.
Yeah, but keep it tasteful, keep it light, keep
Yeah.
it clean.
What's
But
up, Spicy?
as
Welcome here. I just want to say hi. Welcome to
oh
Wrestling
yeah,
Talk.
welcome to all the wrestling talk, and we're gonna dive right into the wrestling talk like
Oh,
we
yeah.
do every Monday, wasting no time at all. We have a headline story. This just in: Uncle Howdy finally makes his in-ring debut, facing off against Chad Gable. We had a couple of video packages before this main event, but all in all, this was a fun match. Bit of chicanery going on at the end, but yeah, I'm just excited that we finally got Uncle Howdy in the ring after over a year since he's been kind of introduced in the WWE.
Yeah,
Vash, what do you think of this whole big segment here?
look, I love the segment. As somebody who got back into pro wrestling in the past 2 years, a big shout out to Whawkins and Drop that got me back into pro wrestling since WrestleMania back 2 years ago, and seeing the evolution of what Uncle Howdy is, and knowing Bray Wyatt before his passing, even this past weekend, it made his 1 year anniversary as well. So rest in peace to Bray Wyatt and to what he has done and in storytelling. Because even with tonight, it showed the love and passion that his brother is continuing the torch passing, and it was beautiful just to hear the commentators. Congrats for Corey Graves being back on Monday Night Raw. So it's really dope to see the little hints and stuff that we wasn't aware. Like I said earlier during the Stampede, Uncle Howdy, his first match was actually in a 6-man tag 5 years ago versus Chad Gable. So that's a really interesting little type of nugget to know that 5 years later, his first in-ring debut after so long, and in a singles, in a main event of Monday Night Raw. Congrats to both of these gentlemen in the build-up after the past 4 months. Like, this is something that deserves in what Triple H has spoken about in long-term storytelling.
Hmm. Yeah, and like it just feels good for him to finally just be in the ring and kind of finally seeing his style outside of a WWE game. So Drop, I'm gonna move over to you really quick because with our knowledge of wrestling history and all that, how did you feel with this final debut of Uncle Howdy in the ring? Because like last time we kind of saw him in the ring doing something, or at least something of more physicality, was back during the LA Knight match.
Yep.
When he
Oh,
did like
yeah.
that big elbow and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So how are you feeling like as another long term fan of wrestling?
I'm honestly happy that he's finally made his debut because it's been quite some time since he's the last been in here, like you said, last year when Bray Wyatt had that match with LA. And it's just nice to see him featured on the screen. I do know that a couple people wanted to see him without the mask, but I think he looks pretty cool with the mask, so it doesn't really bother me. But it's just good to have it's just good to have him there, because obviously after a while you're going to have these guys on screen. You don't want them hiding forever. You want to make sure you have all of them on screen. And it's nice that we're getting a proper showcase now, and I'm just hoping it leads to something. I'm hoping it's not just, a whole bunch of feuds that doesn't lead to nothing, because so far, based on the presentation that we've seen so far, I feel like they're building it right. The audience is invested in it, which is a good thing, because that's one of the things you got to make sure you're doing, is you got to make sure that you're building up things properly so the audience can get attracted to it. Because if either of us were put into this scenario where we attended one of these shows, we want to make sure that we're entertained throughout the entire thing. So I felt like it did its job. I felt like it was very good. I basically loved everything about this match, and it was a great love letter to Bray Wyatt, and I'm just super excited to see where this leads to. There's a lot of potential with this, and I'm happy it's heading down the proper direction. I'm honestly glad it's not like crazy supernatural. We're not seeing like all these. You remember? I don't know if you guys remember back then. He used to do all these different kinds of spells and shit. I'm honestly happy that they're not going down that direction, where they're actually keeping it on a certain path, and it's working. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's like it's
more
exactly. Yeah, because like it's more of like the psychological mindset rather than like the Fiend, for example. And I even put it in our notes here, like the whole thing with the Fiend of like no selling everything and like being this monster, like this almost like Jason, Michael Myers type of character, where it's like, okay, nothing you do phases him. How do you book him to lose? Whereas with like Bray Wyatt, and I think even Corey Graves mentioned something like this similar on commentary, where he was like, this may be physically Bo Dallas, but mentally it's not. It's this Uncle Howdy guy. Like, it's almost like this split personality thing.
I was gonna mention that as well. It's beautiful that Corey gives the history. Like, I love how commentators has been lately. They're treating it like a lot of audience are starting to not notice it, even us. We critique it in a weekly basis how the commentator table treat it like it's a sport, and they give it that break by break analyzation, but also they give the audience that is watching at home the extra details that in case you haven't been caught up in the past years and you're getting back into pro wrestling, they give you the little small nuggets of information like myself. Corey Graves saying that, hey, I wrestled with Uncle Howdy before as Bo Dallas, but this is not the same person. He has gone through shit. He has gone through a trauma. So it's just knowing that what has affected him. Yes, like they're putting the blur in between lines that yes, what happened in real life, like hey, what happened with Bray Wyatt, like with his brother, that's all real. But he's putting that in a storytelling form, and they're making it sound very supernatural and very believable, and that's what I love about it. Like, it's making it like shit. This is not the same person because they have gone through a trauma, and you have to believe that like this is more of a supernatural type of persona, and I love that it's more believable. Where he never took off the mask, I love that. I actually like that little small detail of it.
And it's nice to really see Bo Dallas in a new light before, because back then he was just a big meme. And not that many people really took it seriously, because whenever you saw him come out, they used to do that little dance all the time. So it's like he never really was put in a position where he was at like this, actually taken seriously like all these other guys on there. Like they're actually building him up to be something rather than just being there in the background, not doing anything at all. Like you look at Cody, for example, he had to rebuild himself from the ground up to make him be where he is now. And he's one of the most over superstars in the company. And it just goes to show that even somebody like Bo Dallas could carry on the legacy of his brother. And it's not like he's using his brother to just take everything away from him. Like this is something that was even said in the documentary that both of them work together to achieve, and it's nice that he's carrying the torch to keep Bray Wyatt's legacy alive, and it's nice to see all of that come to life. Because one of the things about me is when I'm critical about things, it's not me just poking fun at it just to be an asshole. It's me just wanting things to be better. That's the only reason why I say certain things, because I want things to be better.
Yeah, of course.
So when it comes to, a lot of these superstars that we see in here, if things aren't heading down the right direction, obviously we'll bring it up and we'll share our thoughts on it and hoping that it improves in the future. And I like with Bo Dallas, this gives him something that I honestly probably wouldn't expect 5 to 10 years ago when I originally saw him to be. Like, never would I imagine to see somebody like Bo Dallas, who used to run around like this all the time, into probably one of the main attractions. Into one of the main attractions on the show. It's just pretty crazy to think about that. It's like you close your eyes, you open them up. Let's say you're like in a coma for like so many years, then you wake up and like, oh shit, Bo Dallas actually has this important role on Monday Night Raw now. He's carrying his brother's legacy and stuff, and you wake up and you say, oh wow, that's pretty crazy. I didn't expect that. I'm happy for him. I'm really hoping for the best.
I wonder if we're ever gonna see some type of documentary of this process, or like a behind the scenes in the future, because I really wonder how, like, knowing this is a tribute as your brother narrative, but knowing like how does this affect, or how is this type of process, knowing every Monday you have to play this role, and knowing that you're doing this for your brother, and also you're doubting yourself, like so many questions, so many type of psychological thoughts in your head for this. So I'm really happy for Bo Dallas, but I wonder how his process during all this, like, does he cry every Monday? I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks about this, but it's very curious.
I would assume he's probably still emotional about it, because you could tell throughout the entire documentary and just him talking alone about Bray Wyatt, he gets really emotional because him and Bray are very close. So I would assume every so often he'd probably get thoughts like that in his head. But at the end of the day, he has to push himself forward so he can continue doing what he's doing to, just have a proper mindset when he's going out there doing all of this stuff. But I would assume probably in the near future we might get something like that because WWE always loves doing these sort of documentaries, so we get more insight on a lot of these superstars that we grew and love. And to answer your question, Pinfall Wrestling Zone, I can see Cody being traded to Raw possibly next year because I don't think he's going to be traded at all. Obviously, he's not going to go anywhere this year, but possibly I can see the main title coming back to Raw, and then you could have the world title going on SmackDown because I swear they had it like that years ago. I could be wrong, but
yeah, they like to switch it. They like to switch it a lot. So
yeah, so I could definitely see that next year, because I'm pretty confident throughout this year up until probably WrestleMania season, even or probably around the draft, that Cody and Gunther are going to be champions because I mean, you looked at how they're booked, people love them, and that's why they get the recognition they do. So that might become a reality. We'll just have to wait and see.
Exactly. But talking about with like the in-ring action with all this, like I like how Bo has kind of incorporated a lot of Bray's offense into kind of like just a mix of his own too, like, because I mean, Drop, you remember how he was, back in his NXT days and all that, but like just having him kind of add a little bit more ferocity in his offense, and how just, I mean, he does a couple references here and there of Bray, like, his old taunt from the turnbuckle and the whole dancing thing.
Oh yeah.
But I just like how he's kind of turned like that physical aggressiveness that Bray had, especially in his, last years in the company, how he's just made it his own.
I'm really happy for how the Creed brothers, I forgot what the American League, no, the American Bold.
American Made?
The American Made.
Yeah.
I was about to say
American Made
Bash,
hot dog.
but American Made.
I think that's an NXT pay-per-view,
American Bash, yeah, most likely. But American Made, I love how they were still involved with the fight because now you try to distract the referee. I love how the Creed brothers tried to get Uncle Howdy, but then we had the rest of the White Six come here and attack them. It was hilarious that Now was trying to do something against Rowan. I'm like, girl, what?
She tried.
There's a huge difference.
It was effective. It was effective somewhat, I guess.
Yeah. But question to you guys. Now that we had all the little Creed brothers and them involved, we had Uncle Howdy first day debut. We had him get his W. Do you think we're done with Chad Gable and
See, that's
I kind of.
Or do you think there's another round two?
See, I don't know because it's kind of hard to tell based on where we're at right now. Because if I'm being 100% honest, you got to find a proper direction for him because you want to have him continuing to feud with Chad Gable and the Creed brothers forever, because you obviously have to, look at this whole entire situation with Bo Dallas. You're going to be like, okay, we got to have a game plan for him. We can't just have him fighting the same person all over again. Like, we don't want this to be a Legato and LWO situation where they're fighting like every single SmackDown like they did many months ago. Like, you got to make sure that you have a game plan for him. One of the things I can potentially see down the road is maybe a couple of the members in the group go after the tag titles. That would be pretty interesting if it goes down that direction, only because I don't really think the Judgment Day is going to really need it in the future based on the storyline that's currently going on with them. So you could possibly head down that direction with them. I mean, I feel like next week could be very telling because after the pay-per-view, that's like building up to Bad Blood. So I guess that could probably answer the question of where things might head. I'm hoping they have a game plan. Like, I don't mind the whole feud with Chad Gable, but it comes to a point where you got to move on from it. You can't keep having the same thing over and over again.
Exactly. Like, and hopefully, because like I feel like the message that Uncle Howdy's trying to get across is like, oh, I'm gonna call out. He's basically calling people out on their BS and being like, look, you think you're some god or prophet or whatever, but you're really not. You're just a scared little dude. And I guess until he gets Chad to maybe admit that, he won't be done with him. That's just kind of like how I've been interpreting this Uncle Howdy thing. And especially tonight, how he was saying, things like, oh, I'm going to purge you. Again, he was, what was he saying? He was, I got to scroll back up to my notes. Yeah, calling him like the false prophet and all that, like things like that, saying, okay, you think you're some big guy, but really you're just a small little man with a smaller ego. Yeah. So it could be leading to that, but I am kind of ready for it to be done. I'm ready for kind of like with you, Drop. I'm ready for like more motion going forward. Like if he's going to be doing this with other people like he's been doing with Chad Gable, there's a plethora of people out there. There's Braun Strowman. There's people like maybe The Miz. I mean, I know that'll be like kind of making them heal a little bit, but hey, give Miz something. I feel
like Miz is turning heel soon. I'm getting.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like if Bronson didn't do what he did to Truth, Miz probably would have turned heel relatively soon. But one of the things I have noticed when it comes to like the whole Wyatt 6 group is that they have a legitimate reason when they go after certain people. So I guess the best that we could really do is just analyze certain situations throughout the show, and we could see where it stems from there. Like if there's like a certain path that a certain wrestler is going down right now based on how they're treating a certain person. For example,
other person I was gonna say that could be a person. It was Sheamus or I believe Pete Dunne was gonna be one, because remember last time they had the Firefly in the backstage behind them, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was like him that they had it with Dakota Kai too. Yeah, but she's injured. But dang. Oh man. But hey, you know what? So happy to see Uncle Howdy out there finally getting, your one-on-one match. Hopefully, maybe we'll move on from this Chad Gable story. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see with that one. But let's go ahead. We're going to move on now to our world title picture. We have Randy Orton versus Gunther happening at Bash in Berlin. We got to build up to it. Unfortunately, Gunther is not here tonight. He's overseas doing some live events, apparently putting his title on the line against Ilya Dragunov, which you live crowds are lucky for that. I think there's a recording too that you can find.
There is, but also YouTube, the company. Oh, sorry, not YouTube, the company. WWE, the company, put a YouTube highlights, I believe, of Gunther versus Dragunov. So I appreciate they actually did that because they knew themselves. Because Triple H probably saw the tweets online. He's like, "Fuck! Everyone found out. Everyone heard the clips. Everyone's seeing what's happening. Hey guys, before people see this bougie ass clips online, can we get some highlights version and can we get the views ourselves?" That's what he probably told the team, because there's no way, like,
probably
literally hours later after people was talking about it throughout like good 6-8 hours of that day, by the end of the night there was a highlight reel of that fight. So it was literally perfect, and it was good product placement. Like, he heard people talking about it, and it was perfect timing.
At least they have it in the mind when it comes to like future match between the two. At least it's like in their head, because the thing about that is, like, when you think of somebody becoming world champion for the very first time, those feuds that they're eventually going to have that's going to pop the crowd, and the crowd's going to eat it all up. Like, we're waiting for that Cody and Randy feud because we know that's going to be a legendary feud, because I'll touch more on that on like Friday, but just using it as an example, people have that certain feud within their title reign that like makes people explode. And Ilya Dragunov and Gunther, considering the history that they have, people are patiently waiting for that. And I feel like that's probably going to be a similar situation with the Cody and Randy, where they're going to take some time to build to that, because for the first time in a while, Ilya's going to be there next week. So you gotta eventually build him up again before you head down that direction, because that could be a match I could potentially see around Royal Rumble, or oh my god, if it was a WrestleMania match, holy shit, that would be fucking nuts.
They will cook.
I mean, I would if I had the pen, I'd book it for WrestleMania, because
same here.
Especially
Same here.
if it's 2 nights and you have a better schedule of how you're like putting certain matches together and everything, you could easily give those guys like a good 30 minutes or so.
Oh,
I mean, he's a world champion now. He deserves long matches, especially if he's going to main event one of the nights. I mean, why not?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And like, oh man, I'm even starting to fantasy booking it. Like, have Ilya Dragunov win the Elimination Chamber match for it. Like, but have him be like 1 or 2 going into it, like from the beginning. Start.
He's the kind of guy I can see doing that. Like,
exactly.
He's also the kind of guy I could see entering the Royal Rumble at 1 or 2 and winning it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is. Oh, he is that good. But hey, you know what? Live crowds, you're eating right now. You are feasting, just gouging on that match that people were mad. Yeah, people were mad that, oh, you're gonna get on free TV. You really think you're gonna get Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther? You just got it on a live event
in Netherlands.
I don't want to hear it. No Yeet during that time. That was no Yeet season.
We don't even know where No Yeet is. But
yeah, that's true. But so back to this section. So like, since Gunther's not there, he did have, a video just being like, hey, defending my title, but I'm focused on Randy and I'm going to leave Berlin champion, all that stuff. And Orton heads to the ring and gives what my one group chat decided to say was, and I quote as I bring up the group chat, where was it?
He tried to grab a pizza box to sign.
My God, maybe the best babyface promo I've ever heard Randy cut. So
yeah,
discuss that statement. Like,
I completely agree with that, because I think I even saw JD mention something, and I'll pull up his tweet.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I reference him a lot, because I really like his content and stuff. He's even said in his tweet, Gunther wasn't there tonight because he's already overseas on tour, but this was a great promo and explanation on why the match with Gunther is important to Randy Orton, because like Randy Orton went over throughout this segment, he has a lot of history, especially when it comes to becoming the world champion at a very young age, and his name has been tied to the original title from the World Heavyweight Championship, and then when they how many world titles was it? It was like one they had back then, and then they end up retiring it. Now they have this one, or was there like 2 other ones before this?
Yeah.
So
because I was
just gonna say, I love what Randy gave the context, because I didn't even know that he was the one that actually combined both world titles.
Oh yeah. I still remember, because it was that match he had with Cena,
John Cena,
where they had both
TLC
the titles.
Match.
Yeah, and then they had it hanging on top of the air. Then he combined them, and then it became the undisputed championship.
So I love that. I love that he gave that context. Because I was not. I was not watching during the time, but I was aware of that match and aware of that promo. So it was good to hear that, like that context. That hey, I was the one that united, and I love when he said that. Look, and that title holds such a dear name to me, because I was one of the youngest one, and it would say. But then when they introduced the title again back last year, I had a back triple fusion. I couldn't do shit. So now I'm here. I want my title back. And
600 hours in Elden Ring.
It's 600 hours in Elden Ring. So I love question to you guys, because to me, is this him giving context to the audience that this title is canon to the original one that he used to have? It's just kind of took a break, or it kind of got buried, and then he brought it back. Like, is he making it canon in a way?
I mean, to me, it still feels like the same title. I mean, it has a different design, because obviously this is like a modern version of it, because not all, but not like all the belts look the same like they used to. But I mean, it still looks like the same belt that has been there many years ago. So I completely understand like why he's thriving for this one, because there's just a lot of meaning to it, like you said. Like, I'm not gonna repeat what you said, but basically what Vash said, there's a lot of meaning to this. So when it comes to stuff like that, that's something I can get really invested in because it shows that Randy is very passionate about this and he's willing to bust his ass off to eventually get this title in his hands once again, which I'm personally okay with if Randy wins a title again from a year from now, because he definitely deserves it. I mean, he just signed an extension for like 5 years, and I'm not entirely sure how old he is right now. I think he's might be 44, maybe. I'm not entirely sure.
He's 44 or 45 because he said that he wants to retire by the time he's 50.
Okay.
So,
50.
Okay, so
so he signed a 5-year contract. So obviously within that time period, he's going to get another title. There's no reason why he wouldn't. And
maybe another 2. Maybe another 3 to break the record.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it. I would be okay. Yeah, because even though a lot of us are thriving for John Cena to get the 17, you never know if he's really going to get the 17. But it's just a beautiful story that could be told. But if Cena doesn't do it, then imagine the kind of story that Randy could tell, where he doesn't have to. Where Randy has to go through 3 different reigns in order to achieve a goal like that. That'd be a great story, but. I overall just really like this promo because it just showed how much this means to him, because I know a lot of people, even though it was clear as day why this match was happening based on the explanation that we knew before, it's just great to add more context to this so it could get us invested, which is one of the things I like about these matches that they do, is that they always want to add some story to these matches, because that's what really draws you in. Like, to give an example, when it comes to KO and Randy, and the only reason why I'm bringing this up to set an example, but the whole factor in your head, you're thinking, oh, is KO going to turn? Is he going to stay face? Is he going to turn heel? It's just to get you invested in that story, because it puts you in a what-if scenario if it actually happened. And that's why they do stuff like this. So they don't just have these matches just because they want to add a match to the card. Like, there's actually legitimate reasons to get all these people invested with the story that they're trying to tell. And I really appreciate the direction that they're going down with this. Like, even without Gunther there, Randy was still able to tell a great story in the ring and get the audience behind him, and that's something I could really appreciate. And when he mentioned him entering enemy territory, and I'm not sure if Whawkins is having the same mindset as I am, because I'm looking at it, you might know what I'm referring to. It's when John Cena had that match with RVD, where you had that classic thing where John Cena had his hat down and he had the title up in the air and he was walking down the ramp. It's almost giving me vibes like that when he was saying that, where it's like Randy's entering enemy territory, Gunther's loved over there, and him walking there, you never know what sort of reaction he's going to get. I still think he's going to get, I don't really see people booing him because he's a legend.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. It's not exactly like I don't see it being as visceral as a one night stand. But yeah, I could see that. Like I could see the connection there too with it. And I think the one thing that this promo really did for me was, and it's something that's always been in my mind since Orton's been like this face Orton that he's been ever since like his days with Riddle. And I mean, I think I'm going to get even more context later on this week when they release this interview that Michael Cole had with him, apparently, because he apparently got very emotional in it. So I'm looking forward to hearing that, because like the version we see here, and Vash, I think you tried to mention something earlier about this too. Like he mentioned that, look, it took you guys 15 years to like me and to finally like start singing to my song. It's like
I literally I was crying. Me and my girl were laughing when he said that, because I told my girl, like, babe, I've been singing his song when I was a kid, but the audience never sang it. But I used to sing it at home, like hearing voices in your head, like just knowing the fucking.
He had another one before that too, Burning in My Way.
Hey, let me say.
Exactly. So just to see that different style and his comment, even him saying like, nice to see that everyone's fucking loves my song. You're 15 years too late, but appreciate ya. And I just love that, because like he's being babyface, but he's also throwing shade to the audience. Like, hey guys, a bit fuck yeah. That could have been like 10 years earlier. It would be nice. You know, I would have appreciated this more than doing this in my fucking last 5 years of my career. Like, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
good. And I also like too how he's mentioning that he's kind of in like this redemption mode here, where he's like he because he's not escaping from the shit he's done in the past, because I mean, Orton's done some shit in the past, I mean,
Oh yeah.
bald Randy Orton is all I need to say for a few people to
Yeah.
know
Oh nine.
the era I'm
Oh
thinking
yeah,
of.
bro used to go to people's houses just to square up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like he's saying that he beat his demons and saying they're stronger than Gunther, but it's just like he's just saying that he beat all the allegations, he beat all the things like his past, like he beat all of that to kind of just be looked at fondly now, and just you can tell again that just all of this means so much to Randy Orton now. Like he's at the stage of his career where like he's loving going to work, a bit. But yeah, I mean, this got me hyped for the match. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the main event. I don't really see.
I'm pretty confident it is.
Yeah,
if it
I don't
isn't,
see Cody KO main eventing.
No, I'd be surprised if it isn't.
Yeah,
I mean, Cody doesn't have to worry about main eventing shows. He's gonna have plenty of time to do that. He's the poster child.
exactly.
So if he doesn't do this one, he'll be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that he is being honest and he has the weird redemption arc. I'm a bit skeptical if this is more story to when he turns heel.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's for that or if this is
I
like him like, hey guys, I fuck up, like I did a lot of crazy shit. I party, I did a lot of shit. I kick people's head. I need them. I RKO a woman one or twice. Shit, I fuck shit up. I'm trying to be a better human.
I mean,
Yeah.
I will say this though. It probably will add more layers to that story because I feel like even after Berlin, we're gonna be my quality dip. But I feel like there you go. But I feel like after Berlin, it's probably gonna dive even more into this whole like redemption arc that he's trying to do, because one of the things that a lot of people pointed out that I noticed other content creators say as well is that ever since Randy came back, besides like the well, if you want to talk about like matches outside of the what do you call it, the
Of the bloodline?
no, not Bloodline. It was what was that match called? War Games. Outside of that match itself, Randy's been on a losing streak when it comes to like matches in general, like especially when it comes to like championship matches, like when he had that match for the title, like Roman and AJ and LA and all those other matches that he had beforehand. So you would think after a while that would probably eat him up after a while, and it would just turn him in a different direction that he hasn't been on for quite some time. And especially if you look at what's currently going on SmackDown after he comes back to SmackDown, after he's done with Gunther, he's going to have that whole mindset going in his head, because now you have that whole KO and Randy thing, KO and Cody thing. So you never know if Randy's going to go on Cody and be like, oh, hey, how come you didn't offer me a shot? Or like we saw on Friday, Solo, after whoever wins that match, I'm next. But Solo, even though we don't need to see that.
Yeah, sure.
But
Solo.
it's like, let's say if it does go down that direction again, Randy's going to be like, okay, I understood why he gave it to KO, but Solo again, really? Like, it's going to eventually get through his head, and then that's when you're going to get that snap. Because the RKO that gets hit on Cody is going to send Randy in a direction, and I feel like we're going to see the beginning of that at Berlin.
Yeah.
That's why.
And it's going to be a long, slippery slope for Randy Orton going down to heel town.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely going to be a long feud for him, too. They're not going to rush through that shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nah, let it cook. Let it simmer a little bit. But yeah, all right. Any other thoughts before we move on to our mid-card stories?
For this main story, no. I'm excited for the RKO that he's gonna be having to Gunther. Hopefully it's 2 RKOs. I feel like with Gunther, good type of babyface promo. Still kind of, I feel towards how you feel Whawkins is weird when I see the babyface Randy doing promos when he's like always been the asshole type of Viper Snake type
You
of.
even look at him too.
Yeah, like he has the vibe, the way he looks, the way he walks is like my boy, like Kendrick Lamar.
Oh. Oh boy. Well, I don't really have a good transition for Kendrick Lamar unless you want to lump him in with the Losers World Order against the Judgment Day
You
in
could.
4-man action. Oh boy, oh boys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's so good to have the LWO back in full force, even though they will lose yet again in another match. Yeah, so they have a match against the Judgment Day. Gets set up because hey, Judgment Day come out and they basically cut the same promo that they've been cutting. Like
Nothing different.
I shit you not. When Ray came out, I was just like, oh, thank God somebody is stopping just the same words being spouted out. You know, like, and I get it. I get the thing with like Dom and booing him and all that, but like this week I was just sitting here like, okay, can we move on? Like, can we just move forward with everything? And Drop, it sounds like you're kind of in the same boat as me.
Yeah, because it's like I don't know, man. I mean, I don't really get invested in them too much anymore like I used to. Because back then I felt like they had a lot of potential, especially when they first started off. But with LWO now, it's like, what are we really doing here? I mean, they even tried doing a little something with him and Andrade. And thankfully, Andrade is not a part of that anymore, and he's doing stuff with Carmelo, which is doing wonders for the both of them.
Oh my God,
like,
yes.
But what are we really doing here right now? Because like, I'll admit, like when I saw them come out, it actually did catch me off guard because I really wasn't expecting them to come out. I thought they were going to talk a whole bunch of shit, and then we were going to get then we're going to get Rhea and Damien a lot earlier than what we did in that match itself. But it was still a great match. I'll say that it was a fantastic. I really did enjoy the match between the both of them. I'm not going to take anything away from that. It was definitely a very good match, very entertaining all the way through. It was definitely a good open to the show. So I don't want to take any credit away from that. But it's like, I mean, we've seen Ray and Dom so much. I mean, I don't really care anymore. Like, you got to think, because it's like I even notice it Ray, like when Ray approaches Dom, it's always the same shit that we've seen him say before. So it's not like it's something new, or it's like, okay, you know, we got some new material coming from Ray, but Ray's saying the same stuff like whenever he's trying to get a reaction on a Dom. So it's like, what are we really doing here? Like, you got to do something different. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's that's why it's like hard for me to get invested in a lot of people in the show, depending on who they are, just based on the whole rinse and repeat thing. It's kind of like you're listening to a song and it's on loop, and you have that song that you really love listening all the time, and then all of a sudden, you know, it changes to the next one, and like, I want to switch this. I've heard it so much. I just want to stop. This is how it is with LWO. It's like, come on.
Yeah, like I wasn't expecting all of them to be out there. Like when the music hit, I thought it was just Ray. And then, oh wait, no, there's Dragon Lee, there's Joaquin Wilde, and the other one that Cruz del Toro? I always forget his name.
That's what I will say. I am happy that Dragon Lee's back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell happened to Dragon Lee. Like, I don't know if
I
there's
don't know
any
either.
behind the scenes stuff going on that I'm not aware about. But we haven't seen him in forever. So I guess one thing I would take away from that is, okay, Dragon Lee's back on television.
Yeah. What do you think, Jey Uso? Good words, Jey Uso. Thank you for the wise words and dedication to the podcast, Jay. You know what? I do want to say one thing. Speaking of LWO, I kind of feel bad for Joaquin Wilde in this match because he had one stumble and it didn't really seem like he recovered from that. Because like they did. Okay, hold on. Because the 4-way spot where they did like the suicide dives and all that. That looked sick from like the overhead camera. But like I felt bad because like Joaquin Wilde almost bumped into whoever was going like this way. He almost bumped into them, so he had to stop, and then he had to keep going. But like, I just kind of felt bad for him because yeah, he had the one tumble, and then like it looked like he like maybe tweaked his wrist or something. But
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
and yeah, I mean, he was just a little slow at getting up, so I'm assuming he's fine. But yeah, then the spot with like the 4-way suicide dive, which again looked pretty cool, but it's like you see Joaquin Wild like start, like bounce off the rope, and then have to stop and then start going again. It was just kind of funny with that. Um, but yeah, I mean the match was fine. Like nothing too wild and crazy, I guess. I mean, again, they did the springboard like 20 feet in the air, 30 feet from like the ring splash move, whatever you want to call it. The wild springboard or something.
Uh-huh.
We'll refer to it as that until the time comes. But yeah, nothing really too flashy in the match. I mean, Liv helps Dom pin his deadbeat dad again. That's something.
It's always a plus for. I mean, that's always a plus for Dom. I mean, at least. I mean,
Yeah.
at least that's something I can take into account because his dad just beat him so many damn times. So it's actually good to see a repeated cycle of Dom getting more wins over his father. So that's a plus in his book.
Yeah, so I mean, again, he gets the win, and then of course they do a beatdown, and the whole time I'm just waiting for Rhea's music to hit, and it does hit, and there's a big old brawl. How do you feel about Rhea and Damien standing tall in this match? Because like I know me on here have been saying, I'm thinking that Rhea and Damien are going to go over at Berlin, setting up, Rhea and Liv again. But we also know about go home shows and how like the people who stand tall in them usually don't win. So like, how do you feel about this one? Because I think there was another one later on where I'm just like, that's interesting that you're standing tall right now.
I mean, my whole mindset going into the Berlin match is I expected, like you said, Damien and Rhea to win because the way I looked at it, and I think I brought it up before, is that if Rhea, let's say hypothetically, Rhea pins Liv, even though the title's not on the line, that gives her an automatic title shot just because she pinned the title, which I feel like would be a good segue to the Bad Blood match where we see both of them together, which I would assume would probably be a Hell in a Cell match, but that would be Rhea's golden ticket to get to Liv again, because obviously Liv's going to deny the match. She's going to say, oh no, I don't want to give it to you. I don't want to do this. I want to do that. But at least Rhea's saying, well, I got to win over you. So technically I did earn my way to you again. And then Adam Pearce is probably taking account, well, she has a point. And then obviously he's the one who makes the matches. So he would make that official. So that's how I personally saw going into that. But judging on like how we've seen like the go home shows when it comes to certain pay-per-views, usually when you have the people standing tall, usually it's the exact opposite result. So that could make some people think in their head that Liv and Dom might go over, which then makes me question, okay, how is Rhea gonna get to Liv again? Which I'm pretty sure she's pretty sure. I mean, it just make me think like, how is Rhea gonna get to Liv again? Like, Rhea shouldn't have to go through another person to get a number one contender spot, like just a random match, just for a number one contender spot, because it doesn't really make any sense. That's why I just feel like right here, because even though when it comes to certain matches, it's not bad if a match is predictable, as long as the outcome makes sense when it comes to the build up to it. Because I can't really see any other way of Rhea getting to Liv if she doesn't pin her at Bash in Berlin, because it's not like the title's on the line. So at least in a way that could be her ticket to her, like I said. But like, I don't know. I mean, the way I do look at it as well, this is a new era. So things that we've seen before in the past didn't play out the same way like it did before, because I remember that on a SmackDown last year, I believe LA Knight had a match against Sheamus. And this was around the Slim Jim Battle Royal before LA Knight just took off by storm.
Yeah.
And I remember LA Knight won that match against Sheamus. So a lot of people thought with LA Knight standing tall that SmackDown, he was going to lose that Slim Jim Battle Royal, but the exact opposite happened, and he actually managed to win it. So I'm just thinking, since this is a new era and we're still used to that whole formula from back then, I feel like things could be different this time. And I feel like Triple H listens to the fans, like it was reported not that long ago.
He's on Twitter.
So I feel like things should go down that direction. I mean, it makes sense because I don't really see why Liv and Dom really need a win over Rhea. It's not like it's going to affect them in any way. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the only other option I can think of, just to add like another wrinkle to everything, is kind of like what I said about SummerSlam and a certain Raquel Rodriguez coming back. I mean, maybe she wasn't ready for SummerSlam. She could come back here and maybe like cost Rhea and Damien the match, you know? Because that's the thing. It's like I look at Liv. Okay, like, and I think I said this last week too. It's like I look at Liv being, you know, the female of the group, and I compare her to, because you kind of have to. You compare her to Rhea, who was in the Judgment Day, running the Judgment Day. At one point, you could argue, and like it, I don't believe Liv to be like somebody who could hold her own. So her having like a muscle with her would help greatly, I think, in that aspect. And it could lead to Rhea challenging her for Hell in a Cell match. You know, oh, you gotta get through Raquel though. Like, and I know that's kind of against like your part of like, oh, Rhea shouldn't have to go through somebody else to get to Liv. But like, I think that this might actually like maybe alleviate that a little bit, being like, okay, this person, it's not just like some random person, like, oh, let's throw Rhea versus Sonya Deville, for example, winner faces Liv at Bad Blood. Like, this would actually be somebody that, you know, Rhea has to get through, but it's somebody that she has to like really put in some effort and defeat in order to get to Liv, who's also, you know, allied with this person.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to come up with a scenario like that, I mean, that at least makes sense. If it were to happen.
Exactly.
That's the only other option,
and that's all we
really
ask.
see them doing, yeah.
Exactly. But that's all we ask, Triple H, is just make it make sense. That's it. What about you, Jay? What do you think of all this, besides wanting to get Mommy's number? All right, good. Thank you for that, Jay. Vash, you could give your thoughts when you come back from where you are in the depths of somewhere, but we're just going to move on to, oh, this is your favorite segment here. Oh, we're going to talk about your favorite segment. It's Io Sky and Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark of the Bathroom Break Collective. Oh boy. It's
probably
the feud that will never end.
Yeah, it's the highlight of the night.
Great.
Probably
my gosh.
The one segment throughout Raw that I look forward to more than Drew and Punk and Judgment Day. It's just something that needs to be on my television whenever I watch it.
I can't, dude. I can't. Like,
I can't tell you how many times me and my friend Billy at work just like meme the name. It's not like I don't like Shayna, Zoey, or Shayna. It's just, it's not getting over. It's very stale. I mean, not that many people are really getting invested in it, and it's not like me talking out of my ass just to look like an asshole. But if you notice, like, even the reactions from the crowd or even feedback on the line, which I'm pretty sure they take into an account, it's not really working, because the whole reason why we call it the Bathroom Break Collective is pretty much to give you a definition of what that means. Is you can easily go off and do something and come back, and you're not going to miss anything, and it's not going to take anything away from Raw because it's not adding anything to what's going on in the story. And that's just what this segment was, because it's hard for me to invest in this because we've been doing this for quite some time. Like, besides Shayna entering herself into this, we've seen the whole Zoey and Shayna thing play out for so long, and it's not going anywhere, and they're not getting reaction, and it just blows my mind till this day that Shayna was like one of those people that came out of NXT that could have been in that main event scene where Liv and Rhea are right now. Like, if Shayna really wanted to, she could be having a little mini feud with some other girl, and then after she was done with that one, then she could be like, okay, Rhea, or okay, Liv, I want to go after that title. Like, she could easily insert herself in these programs because that's just the kind of performer that she is, and that's just how she was built before. It's kind of like you bring Asuka back and you put Asuka all the way down at the barrel after looking at how she was built in NXT when she had that undefeated streak and she was a monster. It's almost like looking at Asuka like that. It's just something that you're not going to see. You're not going to see anything like that with Becky. You're not going to see anything like that with Charlotte. So it's kind of like, it just blows my mind that she's in the position she is, and it's just like, what are we doing here? Because one of the things that sucks, and I hate to say this, but one of the things that sucks is the fact that it's a sink or swim situation when you appear on the main roster for the very first time. Because when you're on the main roster, you have to make an impact right away. And I understand certain times you have to book things properly in order to come up with something bigger in the future. That's perfectly fine as long as you're telling a story that goes along with it, which has worked out very well with certain people. But when it comes to, like, you know, certain performers, you know, you got to do something at first that really makes you stand out. And I feel like Zoey and Shayna had that chance, but it just got it's just drowned in the water. I mean, you even saw when Zoey was paired up with Trish. Trish was trying to help get her over and everything. Didn't really lead anywhere. I still remember the promo where Becky Lynch came out and said, which it still makes me laugh till this day, that like Becky's just so blunt in her promos. But she even said to Zoey before that one of the things that you lack is a personality. And Zoey got like so flustered over that when she said it, and she didn't really know how to react to that, because it's kind of true, because you got to have charisma. You got to have, it's kind of like us coming on here and we're just talking like this and we're not like keeping up with the crowd or anything. Like, you have to add that tone to your voice. You got to, like, you know, get engaged with your audience and something like that, because nobody's going to want to sit here and watch us if we're just talking slow and not saying anything and just talking like this. Like, if you adding that energy in you, that makes people be like, okay, you know, this person's energetic. They have that charisma. They're actually standing out. I actually want to see what this person is going to say. I mean, they've had this chance for so long, but what are we doing? Tag match after tag match, tag title match after tag title match. What are we doing? One of the things I am happy about is at least people care about the Sky Pirates. I mean, at least they're over. People care about the both of them, and that's something I can take into account, because I absolutely love Kairi and Io. So I'm glad they're getting the recognition that they deserve, which they've already earned it long ago, so they're not going to lose that. When it comes to like the bathroom, I can't even remember the name. That's why I'm gonna call it Bathroom Break Collective. But when it comes to them, it's like, what are we doing here? It's just so hard to like get through.
Because that's the thing. It's like, okay, who does this benefit? Like, that's what you need to look at when you're making your stable. Like, who does this benefit? Is this supposed to benefit Zoey Stark? If so, like, it's not really doing much. Like, that's the thing. You pair her with Trish Stratus. All right, fine. That works out fine because Trish is she's the one on the microphone. She's the one giving the talks and all that, and you're the muscle. You know what? That pairing worked great for a little bit. And then, Trish left. And like you think, okay, now we're gonna, kind of push Zoe a little bit now that she's a single star and all that. And like you started to. And I mean, it was like I don't want to say it was a rough start because, like, again, like Zoe's very solid in ring. It's just the personality thing that she's kind of lacking in. But like, you have her do that, and then you just put her in another tag team, and not only just another tag team, but with somebody else who should just. I'm tired of Shayna being in tag teams, because like Shayna has barely been on her own throughout her whole time on the main roster. She's always in a tag team, whether it's with like Nia or with freaking Ronda Rousey, or there was somebody else she was in a tag team with for a while that I can't put into mind right now. But it's like you barely have her as a singles competitor, and when she is a singles competitor, you keep having her lose, and like. It was always losing in the same way with the little roll-up pin that they get whenever they catch like Samoa Joe and his finisher. It's like, just make it make sense, Is this? And again, I go back to the question: who does this benefit? Because when you look at Damage Control in the 3 iterations that we got of Damage Control, you could answer that question. Who does this benefit? Well, the first time around, it benefited not only Bayley, reinventing herself, but it benefited Dakota Kai from coming back, and it benefited Io Sky for being in the main roster. When they added Asuka and Kairi, who did that benefit? Well, it benefited Kairi Sane because she's coming back into the company. It benefited Asuka because hey, that's giving her something to do. It benefited Io because it changed her character into what it became. That benefited Dakota for the same reason I just said for Io. It benefited Bayley because then she won the Royal Rumble and all that bullshit. Like. So you could easily answer that question with Damage Control.
Yep.
I can't answer that question with Bathroom Break Collective.
Pure
like
Fusion Collective.
it's hard. Bathroom Break Collective. Great.
That's where I was with them. I was hanging out with them actually right there. We're talking about their breaks and everything. They was really cool people.
And I hate being so harsh about it, but it's just like
same.
Like damn, and I know they just started. I get that. I understand that, but it's like when you feel this directionless going into it, why? Like just why?
Yeah, nothing's popped out.
And I know we've barely talked about the match. I know that. I understand it because like really the match wasn't too much of anything in ring because like the biggest highlights I found were Zelina Vega coming out of nowhere attacking Sonya Deville, which good on you.
Yes.
And I'm loving this, like, again, Raw's loving the Homelander shot, like the Homelander camera shot that they use, where it's like they, from above and all that. But like this moonsault insane elbow double move, really good. I like how that is and how they set that up and all that. It's just, again, why are you guys a thing? Who does this benefit?
Who is Gamora? Who is this group? Why is
Gamora?
Why is this group? So, by the way, I'm back. So, I want to say for Jay, he kept saying yeet the whole time. He also kept writing in the chat for anybody that wants to read the screen or read the chat. That's what he was saying. That's what he was saying during the time he was gone. 2, Sonya Deville, you gotta talk to your team members when they do backstage because I feel like Zoey Stark is not their presence when you guys are doing the promo. Because I feel like she's a 2 or 3 second delay of her timing, and it makes sense why they're doing this promo backstage and not in ring. Because when you have it in ring,
Mhm.
you don't want the audience to boo or have a flat show or have a flat 2-3 minutes during the live show. So you rather have it during this backstage where they could just focus on the camera and have the script in front of them, like most of the time is when people are not ready to have a full promo without having any type of script in front. So, and it sucks for Zoey Stark because I know she's trying. I know she loves her job. I know these girls are putting
Oh,
the
yeah.
effort and putting the best they can. And
Mhm.
with Sonya Deville, I love how she kind of foreshadowed of what was gonna happen and who was gonna show up. Cause once she said, "Oh, Zelina Vega's up home. Who's also home.
Mhm.
Kaden and Katana. Who's also home." Did she ever mention Lyra Valkyria? Did she ever mention her? Cause I'm not sure if she's also
I don't
out.
even think they did anything to Lyra.
Yeah, I don't think she did.
Yeah.
Cause I know it was only Zelina,
She's on
Kaden
speed.
Katana, and also Dakota.
Oh yeah, I
So
did see that.
that's the only thing that I know is happening. Yes, she is on speed. We did speak about that on Friday in our grabbing of the week. So anybody wants to hear a conversation from me and Nick, go check that out for our conversation about speed in the women's tournament. But
Yeah, not I show speed.
yeah,
The
definitely the
speed.
wrong one.
Yeah.
Other than that, I love how she foreshadowed that so the Dylan Vega to show up and attack. But hopefully it doesn't get repetition where next week we have Zelina Vega versus Sonya Deville, which that is happening, got confirmed. But hopefully no,
Yeah.
it's not Sonya. I think it's Shayna.
Shane. Yeah, it is Shayna.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't get repetition each week, and hopefully these girls get to have a mic talk, because the only one that actually gets mic and actually gets a moment is Zelina, is Sonya Deville, and Shayna Baszler. Those are the only three that actually gets mic in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm done with this section. I'm moving on. I'm moving on from the freaking bathroom break collective. And if you think we're haters, nah. There's somebody that's even leagues beyond our hating. That's a good old Drew McIntyre, who has a strap match against CM Punk on Saturday. That should be a fun, brutal match. But
Oh yeah.
Drew's just out here talking his shit, kind of being a little cheeky boy here, doing the whole face gimmick thing, like, "Oh, it's great to be here in Providence, Rhode Island," and like kind of giving like that subtle wink to the camera, like, "Oh, look what I'm doing."
Like trying to play the betweener, like, hey, I could talk about the sellouts, I could talk about the attendance, I could talk about that somebody drove out 2,500 miles just to come see me. I could talk about that too.
But like, I think one thing I love about this section, just again, Drew just keeps getting proven right, because he mentioned like, oh, I don't know if it's really necessarily Punk is afraid of him or anything, but like almost every time, and I say almost because I think maybe one or two times he hasn't, but like almost every time Punk has attacked Drew from behind and like sucker punched him and all that shit. So it's like, I get you, Drew. I understand you.
But I get CM Punk as well, because right now his bracelet, that bracelet is his kryptonite. So whenever Drew plays with that or tries to say like, hey, I'll break it and everything, even Drew said, this 50 cents ugly ass bracelet, and I've been carrying it around like, so what the fuck do you care about it? You even said that it's a piece of shit and it costs only 50 cents. But a lot of people don't understand is the sentimental value, the knowing that you have AJ's name and you have their dog's name that I forgot. That is what gives that type of significance. Larry, yes, Larry the dog.
He forgot about Larry, everybody.
My apologies, I forgot about the dog. Drew.
It's fine.
Fuck the dogs, Drew just. Hey,
I don't know about that.
Sydney, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that, Sydney.
Hey, Drew's all about the hatred. He gotta put that out there. He's like, the dog, the bracelet. But yeah, so I just love how with CM Punk, he had the kryptonite. He has the kryptonite of the bracelet, so that's why I feel like he continues attacking in the back. I feel like once he gets it, he's like without kryptonite. Now he's full Homelander or he's full Superman without holding back.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I don't know. I just see I find myself siding with Drew more and more through all of this. Like, and especially when he hit us with the line that we chose nostalgia over the guy who got us through the harshest time. Because it's like, oh, when you start thinking about it, it's like, oh yeah, like people were praising Drew's work during COVID, like saying how he's put the company on his back during the whole time, and like, I mean, it sucked that his one of his or almost both of his title reigns, I think, came without a crowd in front of him, and I mean, he has to live with that the rest of his life, but like, he was also there, the front runner of the company when like we needed, an escape from everything going on. Drew McIntyre was right there on Monday Night Raw defending his WWE title or whatever. But it's like, he helped us get through that, and yet a lot of people now chanting CM Punk and all that, just hitting that nostalgia, being like, yes, we want CM Punk. We love CM Punk. We're going to keep chanting CM Punk. Like, I see more of Drew's side with all this. And I'm not saying he's completely right, because you were kind of an asshole, Drew. I'm not going to front. But like, I don't know. I see his side even more and more as we keep going on through the weeks. But Drop, what did you think of this whole segment of like Drew talking his shit and then like CM Punk coming from underneath the ring, from his Instagram live and attacking Drew McIntyre?
Oh my god, that's hilarious! I love it.
One of the things that I did notice that a lot of people took into account last week when it came to CM Punk is that I noticed a lot of people didn't really like the whole corporate Punk speech from last week, where the Punk that we know, that we grew up with, was very like all over the place doing whatever he wants. We never really seen that side of him. And I kind of like this, and I didn't have any issues with it personally, but I definitely understand where people are coming from, because I mean, I can even say, yeah, Punk isn't normally like this. We never see Punk like this. But I like how this week he just was straight into the point, and he just went in there, attacked Drew, beat his ass, and it just did what it needed to do. Kept it simple. Didn't have to say any more words than what he already said. Had Drew come out there and share his side of the story or whatever he was trying to build up to. I just like how, okay, Punk comes out, beats on him. Okay, boom. We'll see how the match turns out on Saturday. And the thing about this match is this isn't like a strap match that we've seen before, which normally, okay, you have a strap involved and you're hitting each other back and forth, and then you get a pinfall. This match actually operates a little differently, which could also be safe for Punk as well, where you have to touch each side of the turnbuckles throughout the ring. You gotta touch all four of them in order to win the match, because that's how the rules of a stretch match was. And we haven't really seen that played out for quite some time, but this also allows Punk to get an easy win over Drew, because I definitely expect Punk to go over this Saturday, because it doesn't really make sense to have a 2-0 with Punk and Drew. Like, you got to have that 1-1, then you eventually have to have that rubber match where you find out, okay, who wins at the end. Kind of like how we saw with Cody and Brock. You had Cody win, you had Brock win, and then you had Cody win in the end. Kind of a similar situation. Drew wins, Cody wins. Drew wins, Punk wins, and then whoever comes out on top on that last match. But I just like how everything was orchestrated. It was just simple, straight to the point, and it did what it needed to do.
Yeah, and like at this point in the at this stage of the game, it's like, okay, they don't really need to say too much. I think the only thing that's left to be said, at least after this match, leading into the possible third match that we're going to be getting at Bad Blood, is just, I would like to hear about Drew's time back then, like in the past, because like he's mentioned, oh, back in the day you thought yourself as a locker room leader, but you were never there for me. Like I'd like to like dive into that a little bit if and when we get this third match. I think that's the only thing this whole story is missing. Otherwise, yeah, we're at the point now where it's just like not much needs to be said anymore. Let's just get to the fights and just finally like put this thing to rest.
Actions speak louder than words. You gotta square up
Exactly.
to tell your true feelings, your emotions. You gotta fight the man down, strap them down, whip them down.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, from one mention to we're gonna move on because there's not much to even dive deeper into yet.
If you want to know more, guys, go on Saturday for our Saturday coverage of Bash in Berlin, where we actually go full length on the coverage. This was just a promo. It happened. Go check on Saturday. No confirmation on time yet, but just check on the stream once it's public, or come back Friday for our actual time that's been announced.
Exactly. But what was announced was an IC title #1 contenders tournament. So the rules of this, we're going to have 4 different triple threat matches going on in the next couple of weeks. We had 2 of them tonight, 2 of them next week. The winners of each of those matches goes into a fatal 4-way match where the winner will then face and probably get horribly massacred by Braun Breaker for the IC title. And yeah, so 2 of our matches tonight, we're going to first start off with Kofi Kingston versus Karrion Kross versus Jey Uso. And I made this tweet earlier, and I'm going to say it on here too. Michael Cole is living his best life right now. He's even telling Corey Graves, look, if my old ass can yeet, you can yeet.
Too. Bro, Corey Graves was horrible yeeting. He couldn't yeet for shit. Man was bad at the timing. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, you're not even synchronizing with your yeeting. Like, you gotta go with the beat. You gotta go with the momentum. You gotta drop with the flow.
Yeah.
Bro, like, his body and shoulders were not in the same synchronization. I'm like, bro, you're bad at this. Just don't even try. And like, even Michael Cole, I know that you tweeted this too, or I believe you co-retweeted, where Michael Cole was giving like 3 or 5 dabs to Jay. They were like,
Oh yeah,
that's fucking amazing. Like, to see Michael Cole, people need to say, how old is Michael Cole? Is he? I believe he's 40, right?
40? No, I don't think so.
He's got to be like 50 something. Hey Siri, how old is Michael Cole?
55 years old.
Good, great googly moogly. You guys heard Siri talk.
Yeah, he's 55 years old, born on December 8th, 1968. He's about to be 62 years. That's crazy. So, man, this...
man.
2 years. Well, sorry. In 5 years, he's about to be 60. But just to see him in this light, like you said, Whawkins, he has this new enlightenment, this new excitement towards the commentating side. You can tell the difference in the type he's telling the story, telling the new stuff, telling everything that is involving with the character, even with Jay, even with Corey Graves coming back, even Corey Graves trying to fucking yeet and do a horrible job, but it was comedic. It was something very different from what we usually get. I like the fight. I want to say that Kofi and Karrion Kross, between both of them in ring, they had Karrion Kross was doing some good moves versus Kofi. Jay with his finisher, the spear, and then doing the frog splash. Nice finisher, I would say, but the spear still is rusty. Karrion Kross felt like the most type of dominating force in this type of fight in this triple threat. Overall, I really did like it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad Karrion Kross was a little better this week. Because I know, he has a lot of his critics and all that, but I mean, in ring he is solid. And I mean, I even made a note in here too. I loved his selling when he was taking the yeet punches from Jay, because like there was one point where like he kind of staggered, and it kind of took me back to like Triple H back in the day, like during like dark segments where he would like oversell a little bit. So
It kind of
I really appreciated
It
that.
reminded me of that fight when it was Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan.
Oh. Let's see. Okay,
That
ladies
was
and gentlemen,
over.
boys and
That was
girls.
overselling, of course, but
Yeah.
that was like triple overselling. Or a better example when Triple H got not Stone Cold, when was the when he got stunner by Stone Cold,
Mhm.
and he did the little 3-step, the little wobble. That's what it felt like Karrion Kross trying to do that from Jay,
Yeah.
and it made it work. And I felt like Karrion Kross is slowly starting to get over by the audience, like bit by bit with the promo work. Slowly, hopefully
little
it
bit.
progress. But I feel like his girl, Scarlett, needs to continue doing the promo work for him, because last week backstage promo saying that I will release your stress. I'm like, yes, girl, you should be the promo person for him.
I will say this. He doesn't necessarily need someone to do promo work for him. Because if I'm going to give credit to Karrion Kross, he is a very good promo. It's
he's
just
great.
the booking. It's just the booking that's hurting him. That's the thing.
Agreed.
Because whenever I've seen Kross ever since he came up to the main roster, especially when Triple H took over, he's never had any issues with promos because he got the message across. He knows how to say things properly, and he made it work. It's just the booking to make him actually feel important within the shows. It's what a lot of people point out.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, kind of like what Vash said. I mean, the match was fine. Like nothing really stood out to me as being horrible or anything. I mean, yeah.
Did what it needed to do. I already had a feeling Jay was going to win anyway, because, I mean, you looked at the people in this match, you really expected Jay to lose now.
And also,
was
I didn't want to hear next week his father Rikishi continue saying, the company we don't know what they're doing with him. Probably Jay needs to go move on to EW.
Man,
he probably has a better future over there. I'm like, bro.
Did he actually? He did say that.
He said something between the lines. Yeah.
Oh, here's my question: how many sons do you have?
Yeah.
Because
like,
because one of your other sons was on a main title program with Cody Rhodes not that long ago. I mean, it's not just Jay you should be focusing on.
Exactly. You have literally like 8 or 6 kids, I believe.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell some of them going to fucking...
And also, actually, no. I'll say this right now. Your son is about to be inserted back into the best ongoing storyline right now, in my personal opinion, and probably a lot of other people have the same mindset as well. Once everything starts kicking into gear, we have Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0. That's going to be the main highlight out of everything. Jay's not going to miss a step in that. And with this new revamped version of Jay, it's only going to go up. It's only going to go up because this Jay back then wasn't the same Jay that we got now. So it's going to be a lot different.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about Jay. They know what they're doing with Jay. They're just waiting for the right moment.
Yep.
Exactly.
I don't want.
Plus, I mean, look at how much fun he's having. Like, I'm sorry, he constantly doing the entrance through the crowd thing. Come on, you don't just do that and be like, oh, I hate my booking and I hate where I'm at on the card. Like,
he must be having a blast. He was probably talking to the audience, the fans over there in the food court, like just having a blast. Like, all right, guys. Are you guys ready? Just be behind me. You guys gonna get this exclusive on camera and everything. Let's have a good time. Let's go, guys. Yeet, yeet.
Yeah, just hope 2K20. Let's just hope 2K25 adds that entrance.
Oh, I hope so. I hope they add crowd entrances. Like, that'd be cool. Oh man, but yeah, like Drop said, this match it did what it had to do. You had the power guy, you had a smaller guy, speed and all that, and then you kind of had Jay, who was like more on the speedy side, but still like power and all that. So yeah, cool, good balanced on that. And our other triple threat we had was The Miz versus Xavier Woods versus Pete Dunne. Now, we had a couple backstage segments with this. Of course, The Miz backstage, kind of planting seeds for the heel turn, where it's just like, yeah, I've had a rough couple weeks because every time I try to do the right thing, things go wrong. And it's like, oh, that's a good seed to plant for your eventual heel turn.
He spurts better.
He does. He really does. Ah, man. But yeah, Bronson Reed, like we said earlier, confronted him saying, hey, when I'm done with Braun, you're next. But I want to touch really quick on this New Day stuff. Like, it was kind of subtle here. Well, I guess not as subtle. But, like, just Xavier Woods' attire compared to Kofi Kingston. It kind of gave me, Power Ranger vibes a bit, where, like, Kofi was, like, a Green Ranger, and Woods was the Black Ranger or something. But, like, I don't know, man. I still don't want the New Day to break up. I don't want it to happen. I don't.
It gave me Green Lantern and the Black
Okay.
Lanterns. It gave me that type of vibe of their type of style. That's what it gave me. I'm like, all right, Green Lantern, Black Lantern. I'm like, are we gonna go with this? Like, is he the will? Kofi's will. I forgot what the Black Lantern's supposed to be. I think it's greed. No, it's supposed to be death.
Oh,
right?
I don't know.
The Black Lanterns are supposed to be death, right, Whawkins?
I don't know. My comic book knowledge is whatever movies have been made.
Yeah.
And animated, and a couple animated series.
All right. So the Black Lantern, I believe it means death. So if that is a, he's been.
I didn't even know there was
attacked.
more than one.
Oh yeah, there's a whole spectrum. So
Yeah.
it'd be pretty interesting that if the Black Lantern type of theme color that they chose, it's pretty intriguing because I wonder if it's supposed to play homage to what Karrion Kross has been doing, playing with the Final Testament, like all that being part of it. So that'd be pretty intriguing if that's actually like the leading up to, because even Woods even said it like, yeah, we're all adults, it's nice to know that we have a long time friendship for 10 years of communication, we hash things out, and he even tried to slip that like, yeah, even though I was a bit offended that you didn't tag me in the fight last week, and like, yeah, but Odyssey Jones was the closer one, like, yeah, we're almost the same if you look how my hand there in the footage. And I love how he said that, like the footage, like he's saying, like, hey, let's look at our camera, like we have the technology to look back,
We're not stupid.
They are actually acknowledging now.
Yeah, which I love. Thank you. You're actually watching your own product.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. But the other thing too, I forgot who I saw. Somebody pointed this out on Twitter. They took like a screenshot, but somebody was walking backstage. I want to say it was Chad Gable. It was either Chad Gable or Braun Strowman. Somebody was walking backstage, and you can see in the background, Karrion, Kross, and The Miz were talking.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, like I'll have to find a tweet.
I'll probably play it. No, I remember I saw it online. It's probably gonna play into something. It normally does.
Yeah. So something, just a nice little tidbit to throw in there. But yeah, like onto the match itself. I mean, this was, with lack of a better term, this was a triple threat match. Like, this was a good three-way, because like normally with like a three-way match like this, you get, one person rolls out of the ring for like a couple minutes, the other person's trying to roll out of the ring. Like, they had a couple spots like that, but it was a lot more even. It was a lot more like of a three-way power struggle going on with this match, especially like early on with the quick roll-ups going on, and like later on with like the big shots and everything. But like, this was a really good match, I thought.
Oh yeah.
I
thought Woods was going over in this match personally.
I did too. Like, I thought he was going to go over, and like he was kind of maybe going to rub it in Kofi's face just a little bit, to just be like, hey, look what I did without any help, things like that.
Yeah. But
it's a bit weird because I thought he was gonna win, but I'm happy it was Pete Dunne instead. Like, it's a bit different since Pete Dunne has been with a tag
He
team,
deserves it.
and he's been getting that push with Sheamus and everything else. So this little small difference of getting that push of singles, I love it because he was even. I think he's the producer of Speed as well. So it's just good to see that he's getting that push. Like I'm really happy for Pete Dunne. It was a great fight overall with Xavier Woods and in the mid like that. The reversal. I love the reversal. It was smart of the Miz, just putting the hand on Xavier Woods, trying to pin him down, while
Oh, that was good.
while still getting submitted still by Pete Dunne. He's like, I'm gonna still go through this.
Yep.
Bitch. Okay, Xavier goes, fuck this shit. And they got thrown back to get pinned by the Miz, by Pete Dunne. It was a great little volley right there. I really love it.
Mm-hmm. And like that's kind of what I was alluding to too, with like this whole like three-way struggle and like how this match was. I really want to know who produced this match. I don't often say that too much, but I do want to know who did, because like just with them scrambling to like go for a cover after a finisher, or like you had pointed out with, you know, the Miz trying to cover Woods as he's getting tapped out and all that. Like there was a lot more of that in this match, and it kind of helped differentiate between this triple threat and the other one earlier, which, I mean, they were two completely different matches. But I do want to point out too that like Michael Cole did mention Chris Jericho by name on commentary. Just gonna throw that out there, because like right now, Chris Jericho has the record for most IC title wins at 9, I believe.
Yes.
Um,
because the Miz said
and
that
the
Miz said that he's gonna try to get his 9th one and become the highest. So technically, you need to get 10 to actually become the highest, because right now you will be tied.
Yeah. So just a nice little story moment there, and a nice little just shout out there. But yeah, I mean, great match, I thought. I don't know about you guys. I thought it was a great match.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match, and well, just adding on to what you said about Chris Jericho, I do like how they're not afraid to mention past history now, because back then they never really mentioned anything.
Super stingy.
Like back then, like let's say if somebody left the company and they went into a different one, that name is pretty much erased from existence, where they never mention it again. And Chris Jericho is a part of AEW now, but they're still mentioning him, like we saw with Kevin Owens on Friday with that little vignette, and then we see tonight when it comes to the IC title. At least you don't have that barrier there anymore, where they're actually allowed to speak freely and actually talk about more things that they weren't able to do before. Because even back then, they were only allowed to say certain terms. I remember I saw like a paper floating around where you weren't able to say like championship. You had to say, you weren't able to say belt. You had to say title or something along the lines of that. There were certain key phrases. Like I even remember you couldn't even say wrestling. Yeah. So it was kind of, so like when I still remember that one promo. I don't know if this was last year or the year before, where you had KO and Drew going at each other, and they were saying a lot of stuff within that promo that you normally didn't see in the past administration when it came to the certain terms that are being used, and they were showing their struggles of getting to where they are now. And I just really like how there's that change there. That's something I can really appreciate.
It's just like at WrestleMania this past year, you literally have Michael Cole on commentary scream, "I love professional wrestling, not sports entertainment." Yeah, professional wrestling. Like,
I'm happy my old boss is gone. Fuck him.
Exactly.
Like, without saying it, he literally said it.
Yeah, but. Yeah, so Pete Dunne gets the win after giving a bitter end to The Miz after, he took a limit breaker elbow and all that. And yeah, he's moving on to this fatal 4-way match. And we do get to hear some words from Braun.
Right before we get to the Braun, I love Pete Dunne's reaction outside of the ring after
he won. He's just
he's like,
yeah,
I got a W. And I love how the fan that the camera caught throughout the whole time. The film was like this the whole time. The guy that was wearing the Yeet shirt, the whole time like this.
Oh yeah.
No.
No.
Nah.
That's the thing.
I'm like, bro.
Pete Dunne was in the rules. He was in the rules.
Yeah,
you know?
and I'm like, bro, fan, I get it, you're upset, but your hand's gonna get tired the amount of times you shake it. Like, we get it, you don't like it. Just know you're on camera. Just know that you're at the
I'm not-
moment. Just continue going doing this, and you don't like it. And I love how Pete Dunne throughout the whole time, looking, I was like, it worked though. I got it though.
Yeah,
I did it.
I
Though.
mean,
It's all
I
good,
didn't
though.
cheat. It's no disqualification. I can attack the ref. It's fine.
Exactly.
I can just pull him out. Yeah, it's fine.
Like,
It reminds me of like, I wish I could remember which triple threat match it was, but it involved AJ Styles. But like,
Bray Wyatt
the triple match.
and Orton.
It might have been because
Or
at
no,
one
Bray
point,
Wyatt and John Cena.
it might have been those two because like at one point AJ just brings in a chair and just like wails on the two. It's just like, oh yeah, it is a triple threat match. It is no DQ. Let's fucking get a chair then. Okay, great,
Yeah.
perfect.
I love. That's the part that I love that Pete Dunne was just having fun and literally just smiling. He made it very organic and he made a special moment. I'm sure when he went backstage, he probably got told by Triple H or by the other peers, and they say, "Hey, smart type of way of to end the show or to end the segment. Smiling and just facing toward the camera and just being very organic. That actually helped. So I'm sure he got high praise for that moment.
And in the back, Braun Breaker tries to give his own version of high praise to these two who have advanced to take a beating from him. And I like how he, again, we're planting seeds for future feuds here. How, like, he mentions that no member of Jay's family has ever beaten up his family in the past. So we're already starting to plant seeds, not only for Jay, but
Roman, Jacob Fatu, Tongaloa, the best one out of them all. And then you got
exactly.
What was the other one? Tamatonga. Like I know you're doing the Okada.
Yeah.
I know.
The mimic. But it's like, oh god, just even thinking about Jacob Fatu and Braun Breaker, oh my god.
Makes me think things that I'm not going to say on this podcast show.
And then Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker.
Look, there was a time where people thought that Braun Breaker was going to defeat Roman Reigns for the title. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Really?
Nah.
Because, oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, Roman definitely has aura. I felt it when he returned. So.
Oh yeah.
100%. But Braun Breaker, continue talking shit because you're about to set up storylines for the next couple months. Roman and the whole bloodline, the whole Samoan family are about to come at you. Like,
yeah,
what?
years.
We couldn't beat you up? Guess what? We got 20 siblings and cousins that are about to come here and whip your ass right now, boy. You cannot spear every one of us. You cannot run 27 miles an hour. You're about to get shot.
You got Hikuleo too, that big tall motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. You got Tala Tonga, you got Smala Tonga, you got Wida Tonga, you got Skinny Tonga.
Dude, they sound like Pokemon, like evolutions.
Yo, it does. It sounds like
Mega Tonga.
It sounds like Nurse Joy, but each having a different variation of Nurse Joy,
something Tonga.
Yeah.
Damp Tonga,
or even
Snorlax
Digimon
Tonga.
Even Digimon.
Tongamon. Yes.
Leomon.
Tongamon. Digivolve 2. Tongaloamon.
Well, guys, welcome to Weebs of the Ring, where you get your anime reference at least once every show, or you get slander about Kid or One Piece. That's what happens. If not,
fuck Kid.
You get your
Fucking
Godzilla versus King Kong as your main event of the ending of the show. What is that? What am I talking about, Whawkins?
Oh, you're talking about the other two Brauns that are on this damn show. You got Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman for who's the meatiest man on our meat planet of a show.
I wish Big E was in
the
commentating table. I wish he literally just got brought here for this segment. He didn't even come for the New Day segment. I wish he just got brought here for this segment and literally went down the ramp like, "What's up, guys? What's up, Marco? What's up?" And I wish he had some type of chicken wings or something like, "I came here for the meat fight, and I came here to eat some meat." I wish a nice promo commercial, ad even, or even a sponsorship, it will work. The fans will question what the fuck, but still love it. And like, wait, why is this here? But then once we know, oh, it's because it's Big E, makes sense. It's a lot of meat fighting.
This match is going to be sponsored by Texas Roadhouse.
Exactly. This man, Braun Strowman, got jumped by Bronson Reed by a 15-foot wall from a fence to a prop table. I mean, prop car. People need to understand. These cars.
Nah, it's real glass.
These cars that you be seeing that get destroyed, even back in June when the Tonga showed up and destroyed a car on fire. I believe it was KO's rental car. I believe. So
yeah,
this is a prop car that got jumped and prepped to have some type of cushion for them to fall on.
Yeah, no, that roof would have been caved in a lot more.
Yes.
Like,
if it was a car, that, bro, people need to understand that's a 600 pressure going down on a roof. My car is a 2007. If Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed got jumped like that on my car, my top would have gotten destroyed. It would have gotten fucking demolished.
Apparently people were saying that was Pierce's car.
Yo, that would be
that would be awesome.
Bronson would be like, payback, bitch. This is what happens when you mess with the Titan.
Yep. Was that your real car? Cry me a river. I hope he says that. I hope he says that. I'd be like,
Pierce, this is what it means to deal with the shit. You are telling me you're gonna put me on time? I'll make my own time. I'll just show your own rented car. What's up?
Oh man, but yeah, they had a match before all this.
Yes, they did. Which
was awesome.
Which when did it become?
It was awesome.
I think I wrote it on our Discord when we're chatting on the Monday Night Raw. I literally said, when did this become a street fight?
Street fight?
Yeah. Well, like, when did it become a street fight? Like, it was a regular match. I was unaware that it got announced or changed into a regular match.
I think at this point they just said fuck it and just let them do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
Because we all know it was leading to something.
Exactly. Because, like, Bronson Reed just walks away after, like... Because, like, that's the thing. They were having, like, such a competitive and, again, awesome match. Because, like, these are big men throwing cross bodies on each other. Like, what? Excuse me?
It was throwing... Like, Corey Graves also kept saying, we had to reinforce our ring to be prepared for this. I'm like... So then, what the fuck did we move it to the street then? Like, why did we move the parking? Like, I'm
honestly surprised that ring hasn't exploded.
Me either.
Like,
I know.
Like
next match, it might happen.
Oh yeah, I hope so because it was such a good. Because I even wrote, Jesus, the security guards. When did it become a street fight? Exactly what I could call a parking lot brawl, real glass.
Yeah.
Like
Pizza
caps.
Pool said, 2K. Pizza Pool, 2K.
Yeah.
Yes. It was entertaining at its best to see two big dudes actually throw around. Bronson Reed, 4 weeks straight, guys. People need to remember, Seth Rollins got taken down 4 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. And then after that, it was R-Truth. After that, it was...
Braun Strowman now.
Yeah, Braun Strowman now.
Miz is fine.
Yeah, Miz got hit, but he's still recovering.
Yeah, he just lost a match last week. It's fine.
But 3 people taken down. This is such a good build-up for Bronson Reed. He's getting booked very well.
Finally getting over.
Yeah, like he's getting over organically and by pure strength that he is. Like, you're playing by the perks. You're playing by the people's strength of what they're good at, and this shows that, and I love it.
Yeah. I just hope those security guards got paid well tonight.
Oh,
because, like, Braun Strowman just threw that guy. Like, almost through the freaking, like, cart.
I bet you we're going to see one of those wrestlers down the line in the future.
Probably. The one who got put through the table.
Punk hit, too. A lot of the guys CM Punk tonight, they're future world champions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
It's hilarious how, like, just Braun Strowman just... Not saying... I want to be one of them. Like, I'll show speed or
You could.
like Logan Paul. Not saying that in the future,
But actually,
if Raw and SmackDown calls, they'll be like, "Hey guys, would you want to be like a security guard segment type of show?" I'll be like, "Yes." But can I not be thrown by Braun Strowman? Can I just get like RKO or something? Can I just get a simple move? Me being thrown by Braun Strowman, bro, I feel like I'm Paper Mario. Just be like, zoom, just thrown. I am
you could
200
be one.
pounds and being thrown by Braun Strowman. I feel like I'm paperweight compared to him.
You could be one of the guys that Jamie Hayter took out during All In. Because
Oh,
like she threw some of those people like into those steps,
yeah.
they went hard into those steps. Like
I
oh
felt
shit.
bad for
Oh
them. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, they got hit.
Yeah.
Walmart Becky Lynch? No.
Huh.
No.
I know why they're saying that.
I know too,
Oh.
but no. Just
No,
because
she's
the
not.
orange
She's
hair.
not.
Yeah.
I know.
Come on, guys.
Peop-
No.
No, people probably just doing it for memes. I don't think anyone's literally means that.
Hopefully not.
Oh
Hopefully
man.
not. But overall, man, this fight was amazing. The one-time tsunami, it
It was
shows
so
from the
good.
car. It was beautiful. I love it. How like Braun Strowman also got ready to take all that weight, and I love how Adam Pearce came literally right after it happened. We gotta
Yeah.
get it. Go get the medical. Get the medical. We gotta see what's going on. And I love how Michael Cole after commercial break he said, Bronson Reed, he left the scene. He said no to medical help. He denied it. He walked it off. He said he was good. He was the man that came out on top. I'm like, he most likely got help. I guess for story purposes, sure. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Like they try to make it so significant. Like Bronson Reed just took out Braun Strowman. It's like Godzilla or King Kong. Like I don't know who's who. I'm just trying to make like the best example because I don't know in the most previous movie I don't know who won, so I don't want to say the incorrect
think neither
monster of who went on top. So I don't know. Marcus, can you take this type of scenario better than me, or I could just move on?
What?
Who's
What?
the King
Just
Kong?
like
Who's the King Kong of this? Is this
oh
like
oh in
who's
this
the
scenario?
Godzilla? Yeah, like who's the Godzilla?
Oh,
Who's the King Kong?
I would say the Godzilla is Braun Strowman and yeah well
Exactly. It's hard.
yeah I would say it's Braun Strowman just because like physically he's a little leaner whereas like Bronson Reed kind of is like gorilla shaped I guess more you
Yeah.
know like and that's just kind of how I see it though but it's like it also depends on your own interpretation of Godzilla I guess
Yeah.
like oh there's some that are like kind of slender there's some that are like built like a tank you know there's also some that like look like lame ducks and all that but you know that's neither
Exactly.
here nor there but
What do you
man
guys
this
expect
was
out of
just
this
awesome
next for Bronson Reed? Like who's because we know he's gonna attack Miz next. That's his next opponent.
hmm
What do you guys hope out of this next? Because we haven't heard after this. Will he go for the IC title next? Will he go for the world title, for Gunther? What do you think is next? Or will he get tagged from Uncle Howdy? Some other, like, what's next for Bronson? Do you guys have a theory yet? Or we need more information?
I have something on the back of my head.
Talk to us.
Because normally after every PLE it begins like a new chapter heading into the next pay-per-view. So I'm not 100% sure if this is going to happen, but I could potentially see Seth Rollins coming back to build to that match at Bad Blood, only because you're not going to just have him attack Rollins and then just not do anything with it moving forward. Like it's been
True.
quite some time since Rollins hasn't been on television, so you already off the bat built that injury angle with him and you could bring him back now. And I could honestly see it, since it's a triple threat match and there's no disqualification, I could easily see him costing Bronson. Like Bronson doesn't necessarily need to get pinned. He could be taken out of the ring and Seth Rollins could start like beating the shit out of him and stuff like that, and they both fighting with one another. and you could have one of the other two go over between Sheamus and Kaiser. But I could definitely see Seth Rollins coming back, because I definitely feel like Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed is the match that we're
Will
probably
really
going to
help
see
him.
at Bad
Yeah.
Blood.
I see what you're
Mhm.
saying. That's actually a good point. That will actually help him go over, for
Yeah.
Bad Blood, and that will be a good feud for Seth to put over for Bronson Reed. So I see where you're coming from. That's actually a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that's the thing. He's got to finish what he started with Seth, but like my only concern is where does he go after that? Because it's like I look at the IC title picture and I'm like, okay, I don't think Braun Breaker's dropping that anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like even in yeah,
I could see him having it up until Mania, to be honest.
yeah,
Really?
same here.
Hmm.
Like there's that, and then then there's Gunther holding the title, so it's like okay, like you could still have Bronson Reed challenge for those titles, but I don't see him winning. I see him more being like the test for those two, depending on who he faces and all that. The
Yeah.
only other option I would see, and I mean this is kind of against a boy too, but I mean if we get some sort of like mid before Rumble or like round Survivor Series, like superstar shakeup or something, have him go to SmackDown and take the US title, But I mean, even then, you kind of run into the problem of, okay, LA Knight should be dropping sometime soon, or like that's why I said, like,
I
maybe
feel-
around like Rumble season or whatever.
Yeah. When it comes to like the IC title, the only person I really see that dropping to is Sheamus at Mania.
Yeah.
And when it comes to LA, the only person I can realistically see him dropping it to is Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
Because that belt itself is just tailor fit for him.
Oh, he
Oh,
would look
I mean,
great
my
with
God,
it.
yes.
Oh, he would
Oh,
look
yeah.
amazing. Those pictures would be
Yes.
coming out, and how cocky he would be. Like, yo, guys, I have an after party
Yeah.
for my U.S. title, and I'm like, bro, you already had a
Yeah,
plan.
like that's more than likely like the end result of that Andrade and Carmelo feud. I can see after that Carmelo's gonna get that title opportunity against LA Knight, and I'm not sure if he's gonna win it the first match or the second or whatever. But that's the person I can see him dropping it to.
Yeah.
So
Oh
overall, for
boy.
Bronson
But hey,
Reed, I'm excited for it.
yeah, and I mean, overall, I think Raw was pretty solid this week. Like I know I said my spiel last week about like, oh, sometimes these like second or third week Raws before a pay per view feel kind of slow, and yeah, I stick by that because like tonight felt a lot better than last week. It didn't feel like it really dragged or anything. It just we got to the point, we moved on with it, had our laughs, had our goofs and all that, and had our serious moments, but like we're heading to Berlin. We got stuff to do. We got storylines to kind of wrap up or like, halfway wrap up or something. But yeah, I thought Raw was pretty good overall. Vash, what did you think of Raw overall tonight?
I want to say, did anybody notice the difference in their switch up in storytelling from compared to last week, where they had the Breakfast Club being at the end of the show last week, so it killed the momentum of the show. Where this week they had them in the first hour of the show, so it actually had better pacing for me in how Triple H placed the booking for the storytelling of each of the of each hour. For me, it felt much better. So I see where you're coming from. I can see the difference of this first 3 hour chunk compared to last week. The storytelling and pacing was much better. So that I do 100% agree. This Bash of Berlin Go Home show was very well. Can't wait to see the SmackDown version of the Go Home show when they already are in Berlin. So people need to understand that we're gonna have like a 1.5 or a 0.5 setup for the PLE the night before, as always when we're international. So that's a great part of it. And Raw was fun. Happy for LWO. I wasn't here for that segment, so I will say my quick thoughts about that. That LWO was nice to see them, but like I said in the comment section, that there are hype moments to watch of them. They're not great for a match, and that's the thing that sucks about them. That when you're not hooked into, like the only person I know is Joaquin, I forgot his last name, but it's because he does the jump always. So he's known for that,
Yeah.
for those hype moments. I don't even know his tag team partner, and he's part of that. How the fuck do I know his tag team partner by heart if I don't know his own partner? So, like, it doesn't help the reputation. And when a question raised, like, Ray, you're supposed to help the next generation or help your own type of division or your own LWO squad, and I don't feel like you're putting that much effort. You're putting more in the story for your son, which as you should. He's your son.
Yeah.
But like, I'm waiting for the hype moment as you should to give this other moments for even for Dragon Lee. Like, I'm excited for Dragon Lee to be back. I want him to continue doing something more, and I would love to him to see more, not like in a title picture, but more in the on-screen. Show those hype moments because Dragon Lee is supposed to take the next generation of the mask type of luchador fight. So I love to see that. Overall, good Raw, solid. Out of 10, I'll give it like a solid 7. A 7.2 or 7.5.
All right, cool. What about you, Drop? What do you think of Raw overall tonight?
I thought it was a pretty solid show. It did what it needed to do when it came to certain storylines. Moving into Bash at Berlin, so that's something I can really appreciate. The only highlights for me really that stood out is, besides Bronson, because that's something we could always agree on, would probably have to be the emotional depth that was added into Randy's match at Bash in Berlin. Of course, seeing CM Punk and Drew get physical, not saying much, which you don't necessarily need to do to add more fuel to that feud. So that was nice to see. It's nice that we're getting things set up for the IC title tournament. So really curious to see what the outcome's going to be about that. I'm gonna say Jay's gonna be the number one contender. Just gonna put that out there, early prediction. But other than that, besides the Judgment Day things, which I always look forward to, I don't really need to say much about that. That's all my thoughts, really.
Oh, and by the way, it was cute to see Rhea wearing Damien Priest's shirt and Damien wearing Rhea's shirt. It was like, it threw me off for a second, but it's really cute of how they do that for each other. Very adorable. And also, I know we didn't mention it, so I want to mention it at least at the end of the show. Rest in peace for Psycho Sid.
Yes.
It was a great homage for what Damien Priest and Rhea said in their little promo. I want to give a quick shout out towards that. It was, "We are the masters and rulers of this world."
Yep. Yeah, so, rest in peace to you, Psycho Sid, and all that, all the stuff you did, all the memories you shared and all that. But yeah, so that about does it for us tonight. We've hit our 2-hour mark. So hopefully you guys have had a good night and hopefully get a good rest here. Don't worry, I see you guys in the chat. I guess I have to react to Hood Naruto, so I guess expect that on my personal channel. But Vash, let these people know just where exactly, if they wanted to, check out our socials or maybe other content we do, where's a good place that they could find all those spots that they could talk to us or interact with us.
Well, chat, if you want to interact with us and see where you can find us, soon you will find a old link space. I could announce this more now because the website is closer to be launching very, relatively soon. So we'll be having a back end of where you could be finding all our social media outlets for Drop, for Whawkins, for the team. We can find all their social media outlets in the future. I haven't even shown the team yet. I'm working on it, so they will be seeing it sometime this weekend or next week. They will actually be the first people to see how it looks. So great things are coming. Join our Discord or our social media handles at AniMa with Studio, Legendary Vash, DropThisBox, Whawkins MW, and hashtag Weebs of the Ring for the Weebs of the Ring podcast show. Is where you can always interact with us. Unless you join the Discord, we could always talk about Monday Night Raw. Tomorrow's NXT. Wednesday is Dynamite. On Thursday is TNA. Friday fucking SmackDown. Saturday is Bash of Berlin, and then Sunday's No Mercy, and then the whole new week next week, and so on. So we have a packed next 2 weeks, so definitely stay tuned for content in the Discord side where we'll always be talking about it. And if you guys want AW content, you gotta let us know. We might tune in, we might stream. Me and Whawkins could do a Twitch exclusive side about AW if you want that type of discussion, because All In happened last week. Congrats to Daniel Bryan. And the last thing I was gonna say, guys, appreciate for everyone tuning in for Super Duel, Piece of Pool, Pinfall Wrestling Zone, and also we have Sonia Hernandez. We appreciate for everyone tuning in on the show, and if you was also just lurking and hanging out, we appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you very much.
Exactly. And as always, we are going to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, why not do exactly what Vash did? What he just told you guys to do. It's very simple, very easy directions to follow and do. You guys are pretty smart out there. I believe in you. We are known as Animal We Studio on all social media platforms. Just remember, that's we with a 3. Also, use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring to interact with us about anything regarding wrestling before, during, or after our shows. Feedback is always appreciated as we are nothing without you tuning in. Weebs of the Ring is presented by Animal We Studio, thanks to our production team of Vash, Whawkins, DropThisBox, Rome, and Jokester, as well as special thanks to JB and Abe. Thank you for joining us, and remember, as always, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good one, everybody.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeet.
Should have a bowl of Lucky Charms before you go to sleep.
Amen. Yeet, yeet.
Let's talk about Lucky Charms.